it was like post-show, run, take a shower, and try to like use that
Come
to
down.
reset.
Yeah.
And now she's like such an inspiration. It's like, well, I got to be up at 7. So I'm
Wow,
doing it.
that's so incredible.
I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to be a present mom. And I also think it's so important in trying to teach if you decide to be a parent, right? Like you're trying to prep this human for life.
Right.
And I have learned how to do this thing, which is touring, and this is my path, and this is my family that I found, and I don't want to stop that because it feels like important for her to see. It wasn't just the fact that my parents split up, it was what ensued as a result.
Of course, right. It's not the idea that they're not going to be together. It's all the reasons they're not going to be.
It's all the
right.
reasons, and then it was like, the way that it happened for me was that literally overnight, in 24 hours, I went from having a home with 2 parents and my half-brothers living with me to having 2 homes with a new mom who I was supposed to refer to as mom with new step-siblings. And it was like overnight.
At 6.
At 6. And the sort of, what does that mean? And then my mom and I moved into a tiny apartment. We're sharing a room, and my dad and his new partner shared the house that we were in. And then her kids took over my grandparents' room. It was such a warped, it rocked my world. I was definitely an outcast as long as I can remember. And not because I didn't fit in at all. Like in high school, I had way too many like emotional, turmoil to sort of be normal. But even before then, I was sort of not nerdy enough to be a nerd, but scored in the same classification from school. And I wasn't quite cool enough to be cool. I straddled that line.
Welcome to Identified, where we explore, challenge, and redefine the traditional concepts of family and identity. In this episode, I am joined by founding member and bassist of the band Khruangbin, Laura Lee.
I'm a new mother.
How's that going?
Watching her grow is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I just did my first tour with her and Dad, which I was so terrified about. Mm-hmm. Therapy sessions aplenty ahead of touring.
Really?
Because it was like the integration of family and tour isn't something that there's much of a rule book. Your touring crew is a family.
Right.
Like big time. My band, I'm in a marriage with my bandmates. Like 100%. You have to expect that you're going to grow together in this way. You're intimate in this creative sense. And then you build this touring family that we're so close and so tight. And then it's like, how does my family fit into that family?
Yeah. And are you the first in the band to do that?
Yeah. There are very few people that I know that have toured with their children and or partner. And all of them are at very different stages in career or at different levels of music. There is no way of getting advice.
Right.
Like not real,
Yeah, right. There aren't 10 people who've done it exactly the way that you're trying to do it.
If I call up Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're not going to have tours.
Yeah, you just got to plan for your daughter.
Exactly.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's tricky, but it's also so amazing and so human and so raw.
Yeah.
In a time where like social media and every single like Uber driver has advice for you as a mother. There is no advice for a touring mom. And it's so awesome. It's so refreshing because it's like, I get to decide how I'm going to raise my child.
Right.
Like every decision, I'm not sitting at home with the myriad of toys that I've purchased through Instagram. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm in a different city every few days.
Right. It's the basics. If you need something, you have to find it or live without it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I found that even in that context, I packed way too much. Like I need way less for her than I thought I needed.
Which is an interesting thing that a lot of people don't get to find that out. I assume. I'm not a parent, but you overcompensate. You get everything you can think of.
I love touring, period. I love it when it's the worst of times, but it was like the best tour of my life.
And so it didn't ruin it for you at all. This is the plan now.
Awesome.
That's so great.
Yeah, I didn't want it to end, which it's not. I'm going back in a couple weeks. But it was so rich in life. I mean, I was not bored. Also never overtired somehow because she gives me so much life. So I was with her from 7 a.m. when she wakes up. I have her very regimented, which I'm so grateful to myself for. But I wake her up at 7 and I'm with her until 2 when I go to sound check. And then most of the time...
Full day. I mean, a half day, but it feels like a full day.
Yeah. And then I'm usually back for a little bit between sound check and show to like put her to bed or give her a bath. And then she's asleep when I go to work.
Oh, right. She's too young to be like the cool person in the orange headphones or whatever. That's coming in a year or two.
Exactly. And it was so awesome. And I felt like my work-life balance was really amazing. I just feel so fulfilled. I'm so high off of like my life decisions.
It's interesting about not being tired because, I mean, I've played in bands for years and have toured in, horrible scenarios and good scenarios, but what you say about not being tired, when I've heard that, again, I'm not a parent, but from parents who are just like, no, you just figure it out. Of course, you're tired sometimes. But being on tour for me, with no matter what, I figured it out. I actually didn't feel that tired on tour. At least my memories of being on tour aren't being tired because you're just going and you do it and then you sleep when you can and it's fine. And so adding this to that, it's interesting. I wonder if in a way it's easier because your tour brain just knows, like, when you're on tour, you just do it and you make everything work, and this is a new element, and you're making it work.
I also, when I toured pregnant up until about 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds harder.
It was harder, but what it did was help me train myself to sleep. It was like, you have to go to sleep right now. And it's so hard after a show, to figure out how to go from there to sleep.
Yeah.
But it was like post-show, run, take a shower, and try to like use that
Come
to
down.
reset. And now she's like such an inspiration. It's like, well, I got to be up at 7. So
Wow, that's so incredible.
I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to be a present mom. And I also think it's so important in trying to teach if you decide to be a parent, right? Like you're trying to prep this human for life.
Right.
And I have learned how to do this thing, which is touring, and this is my path, and this is my family that I found. And I don't want to stop that because it feels like important for her to see. So somehow I found a partner that's willing to come do this with me.
That's the incredible part.
And we had such a great time.
How far back can you trace your family? Do you know a lot about your ancestors, about relatives from way back?
My mom's side, I do know a bit more because there was a sort of lawsuit. So my grandmother's great uncle was like the first one to arrive from Spain to South Padre Island, which is
Texas,
right. Like near the border. I'm technically an heiress along with like thousands of other people to South Padre Island.
Oh, wow, that's
via
great.
This uncle of my grandmother's. And there was a huge lawsuit fighting for ownership or the title of that.
Oh.
So that's the only way the reason I kind of know a bit. But my grandmother was one of 15 kids, and I spent a lot of time with that generation.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot. I had a very rich family life with my grandparents on my mom's side. Yeah, growing up.
And is your mom still in Texas?
She is.
She is. Did you tour through Texas? Did she get to meet her granddaughter on tour?
Oh, she has met her granddaughter.
Right. Oh, I mean, I'm sure. But I mean, did you specifically get to see that part of your life?
Well, she came to Albuquerque.
Oh, well.
And saw those shows and saw the like touring grandbaby.
Yeah.
And she is helping us like at the end of tour. She's watching her for like 2 nights so that I can have a little decompression.
Right. That's nice. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I think that my sense of family is really rooted in my grandparents more than anything because my parents split up and I had a really broken home and a really difficult time calling home.
How old were you when they split up?
6.
Oh, yeah.
Rough. I was in the age of divorce.
Right.
Like that was when everyone was getting divorced. And I remember when I was really struggling my teenage years, I had all kinds of emotional issues and was sent to all kinds of doctors at the time because of rebellion, or like they saw it as rebellion. It was like I was just hurting, And I remember feeling so lame, kind of blaming the divorce as the root cause of things. It wasn't just the fact that my parents split up. It was what ensued as a result.
Of course, right. It's not the idea that they're not going to be together. It's all the reasons they're not going to be.
It's all the reasons. And then it was like the way that it happened for me was that literally overnight in 24 hours, I went from having a home with 2 parents and my half brothers living with me to having 2 homes with a new mom who I was supposed to refer to as mom with new step siblings. And it was like overnight.
At 6.
At 6. Oof. And the sort of, what does that mean? And then my mom and I moved into a tiny apartment. We're sharing a room, and my dad and his new partner shared the house that we were in. And then her kids took over my grandparents' room. It was such a warped, it rocked my world. He sometimes remarried, but he, had different partners. I moved a lot.
In the same city or all over?
In the same city. Yeah. And then my mom met her still husband shortly after. I was still 6, I think. So it just so much changed. It was really hard to figure out what home was. I was thinking about it before I came here to meet you. It was what is family to me? And I think it's where you feel safe. And I didn't feel safe, for a really long time. I don't even blame my parents. It's it was just a lot of unfortunate circumstance that led it to be so difficult for them to understand me and for me to feel safe in my own home. Whereas my grandparents were constant.
Right, they were the rock.
They were together. Their dynamic, while was very interesting, it was stable. And I went there every summer.
You would spend the entire summer with them?
A lot of the summer.
And that was probably the most time you spent in one place, right? Because you're going back and forth.
Totally, back and forth.
So that's a huge part of the stability, was even just literally being stable.
Yeah, and they both were incredibly loving. And they both had all of the time in the world to dedicate to taking care of me when I was with them. That I think when you think about what is important for a child to feel, it's just love and care. It's simple things, attention, and I got it from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to do an interview once. I ended up scratching the whole thing. I wasn't prepared to be asked about anything from my childhood, and I've never really talked about it. And I think when I'm ready to really do the thing, it'll be in my own words and my own terms. But the interviewer asked me to recall a happy memory from my childhood, and I couldn't. It ruined my whole interview because all of a sudden I started thinking about why do I not have any happy memories? And I do. But in that moment...
It wasn't easy.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and I wasn't prepared for it. But I only remember my time with them fondly. And they bickered, and they slept in separate rooms. They were super Catholic and would never have, divorced or anything like that would never cross into their minds.
Right. That wasn't unusual, was it, for grandparents then? My grandparents slept in... they were great and were married the whole time, but
I
think they had separate beds in the same room, but it's a movie about old people.
Right, totally. Yeah, my grandpa was a pack rat, so he nobody would want to sleep in that room.
Right.
I don't know. I have fond memories of them taking out their teeth and that whole thing.
Right. You just had to dig up those memories, so that's good. I'm curious, you said the age of divorce, which I know what you mean, but did you feel were you a normal kid, or was your family normal? No. Even though other people were getting divorced, but you knew that you were in a different situation.
There weren't that many people around me at school with divorced parents. I met more growing up, where it became such a common thing for anybody my age. And now looking back, it really feels like it was really divorce time. And before that time, people were stuck in marriage. Right. So the divorce was the pendulum swinging that way. And then after that, people were no, whatever we have to do to not, maybe we don't commit, whatever the thing is to escape that. I was definitely an outcast as long as I can remember. And not because I didn't fit in at all. In high school, I had way too many emotional, turmoil to sort of be normal. But even before then, I was sort of not nerdy enough to be a nerd, but scored in the same classification from school. And I wasn't quite cool enough to be cool. I straddled that line.
Yeah.
So I always felt alone at school, and then I felt alone at home. And then I found music.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go next. Yeah. Where does music come into this? Was that something that was handed down at all from people, or did you discover it on your own?
Both of my parents were very musical. And that, my dad was obsessed with bands and was constantly listening to music and talking to me about music. We would ride to school. He would play a Beatles song, and I was supposed to tell him which Beatle wrote the song that I was listening to.
Oh, that's a great childhood memory.
Yeah, it's a great one. He and I would always talk about music. And then my mom loved singing and was very musical in that way. Had she fully lived out a dream, it would have been singing in some way. She got accepted like to the Grand Ole Opry when she was little, but I know her mom wouldn't let her. But yeah, there was like music around, but nobody played anything. And I played piano when I was really little, up until my teenage years. I never sat at it for longer than 15 minutes, but it was like I would go do something and I'd come to piano. I would do something, come back. And it was always this outlet, whether I realized that that's what it was or not.
Would you like practice, like learning, reading music, or would you just like tinker and do whatever you wanted?
Both, but I did read music. So it was usually like a determination to play whatever the thing was. And I still practice this way. Still to this day, if I can't get something, it's like 10 minutes, go away, 10 minutes, go away. When I was having a tough time in my teenage years and beyond, music was like my hero. And it was what I turned to. And just like either blasting it through my headphones. I have a lot of memories of like I had like lived in like sort of attic room. And I would just put speakers all around me and lay on the ground and just try to like swim in it.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like a movie, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
I never had the balls to actually like play in a band or think that I could do that until I met my bandmates, you know, and then it happened. And then this sort of weird thing where like I kind of felt like I never had a singular friendship group. I had, you know, friends in different places because I was sort of like navigating in my own place. The three of us met in this way that like when we hung out, we only hung out, the three of us. It wasn't like we hung out with other people.
Right. So it was your group now.
It was us. Yeah. It took me a long time before I realized that they felt like family to me. And I mean, obviously they do now. It's been a really long time.
Right. But even early on.
Yeah. Early on, it was this very safe space. I trust them wholeheartedly, you know. I never worry about that. They don't like to make decisions without me, but I'm always like, it's fine. You guys know.
But that's the perfect relationship, right?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, creativity in general feels safe to me. I know it can feel daunting, and blank canvases can be very threatening or scary in a way, but I drew all the time growing up as well. Like I thought that that's what I was going to do with my life, most of it. I always felt safe creating. And I think that it's this, in a sort of meditative sense, you're present when you play. You're present when you draw. You can't think about anything else. There's not much room for it.
Right.
And so I think I found a safe space in that place. Yeah. And then when you combine that and people, it's like...
Right.
Yeah.
And a child.
And a child.
It's all there.
Oh my gosh. It's so great how much joy like a child has brought on towards everybody else.
Right.
It's like this level of playfulness and lightness that seems to have taken over the team.
Right. That's so great.
Yeah.
Now everyone's going to do it.
I mean, I'm not against the like idyllic idea of touring with babies in general. Yeah. I think it would be so cool. I have a friend I met today, actually, whose dad was a touring musician, and she was telling me that she has so many memories of chasing her dad's tour bus as it left.
Oh, like literally chasing it. I thought you meant like being in a car behind it. You mean like running
just
after
like
it.
running after it. How she would have loved to have gone on tour.
Yeah.
Because at least you could be there together.
Right. Find out how fun it is and how fun it isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So interesting to me for you to have, like, I feel like adopted kids or kids that grow up that don't know their parents.
Right.
You know, they spend a lot of time seeking them out because it's so deep. It's like this deep need to know your parents and to feel them and to know where you come from.
Right.
And to have a parent who is everywhere, but like to know them, but not know them.
It's a unique situation.
It is.
I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you know, the thing I always get into, it's not going to turn about me, but
yeah, I know.
There wasn't a divorce. It was set up this way. He didn't leave us. He was never with us. He wasn't supposed to be. So there's a whole set of issues, but it's not the issues everyone wants it to be. It's a very specific, unique thing.
Totally.
That's just so strange that I generally think great things about him. It just got hard when I wanted to get to know him as an adult and he kind of wasn't interested. So that was finally in my 30s. That's when I felt that rejection that everyone thought I felt growing up, but I actually didn't feel at all as a kid.
Right.
So it's a weird situation.
Nuanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Niche.
Very niche. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Please consider subscribing to Identified wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major streaming platforms. And be sure to explore identifiedpod.com, the place to gain a better understanding of family. Our executive producer is Kiran Banerjee, and the show is produced by Palm Tree Island. The music for Identified is by Noella and Patricia Brennan. I'm Nabil Ayers. Thanks for tuning in.